Can you imagine a place where you can learn about the entire history of Mexico, including its pre-Hispanic roots, and even its scientific and artistic discoveries and achievements? Well, that's how interesting the Museum of Anthropology and History is, which we will tell you about it below. The National Museum of Anthropology in Mexico has a rich history, dating back to the 19th century. It all began when Lucas Alaman asked the Emperor Agustin Iturbide to create a conservatory of antiques and cabinet natural history at the University of Mexico. Considered the first museum in the country, its objective was to preserve objects that could tell the history of Mexico.
The museum grew over time and became an emblematic place to learn about the culture and history of the country. In 1909, the scientific collections were transferred to the National Museum of Natural History. Later, in 1939, the National Institute of Anthropology and History and the National School of Anthropology were founded.
In 1940, Chapultepec Castle became the National Museum of History, and the original museum was renamed the National Museum of Anthropology, hosting Mexico's most important archaeological and etymological collections. Since then, it has been recognized as an emblematic space for safeguarding the indigenous root legacy and a symbol of identity for generations searching for their cultural roots.
Nowadays, we can find this museum in the Chapultepec Forest, in the Miguel Hidalgo section, and we can access with an entrance fee of approximately 95 pesos. It's prioritized according to the season. Although, if you're a student, you can present your credential or you pass for free. In the same way, inside the museum, we can ask for a guided tour, which is free from Tuesday to Saturday. This museum is open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and has approximately 2 million visitors annually. So hurry up to buy your tickets and arrive as early as possible because, as you can see, it's a very crowded place and especially at the entrance.
Before entering the museum, we found a numerous food stalls, ice cream or souvenirs, but undoubtedly the most attractive of this area were the well-known voladores of the Papantla, which we have the chance to see. These are five people who climb up to a 30-meter high tube, where four of them jump into the void, holding a rope, and the fifth one is at the top playing a flute and singing.
Arriving at the museum, we went directly to the Mexica room, which was the most crowded room of all, as you can see in the video. Here we found various relics, such as the treasure of Moctezuma, as we saw gods everywhere. But there was one that stood out among all, La Piedra del Sol, also known as the Calendario Azteca. It's a stone of 3.5 meters in diameter with a weight of 24 tons. It was designed by Cuauhtémoc with the objective of creating a clock that combined astronomy, mathematics, and art. It represents the 20 days of the Aztec calendar, phases of the moon, and cycles of the universe.
Another room we visited was the Maya room. This one, compared to the Mexica room, was a little emptier, although it was a little bigger than the previous one. As we entered this room, we found a representation of the Mayan area, which was, as you can see, quite detailed. During the tour, we observed several important objects, and one of the most attractive objects was the representation that they had for a ball game they played in the ancient times. Finally, we entered the most important part, where there were representations of artifacts, masks made of jade, and mainly the tomb of Pakal, which was an exact replica of the original.
Leaving the museum, we found the souvenir store, which I recommend you to take a lot of extra money, because here they sell very nice artifacts that are irresistible not to buy. However, some have an extremely high cost, such as this one here, which costs around 56,000 pesos.
During this visit, we were able to learn numerous facts and even surprises, because we found an impressive collection which houses more than 600,000 objects from pre-Hispanic artifacts to objects of colonial and contemporary times. Among these objects, we can find La Piedra del Sol and the Tomb of Pakal, which is an exact replica of the original, which we had already mentioned previously.
We hope you enjoyed this video. We not only had a lot of fun doing it, but we also learned a lot about the history of our country. And we hope you have learned something well as new. Thank you for your attention and have a great day.